It's a small batch, handmade hot sauce made especially for you. You can find it at www.trygreatwhite.com. It's also sponsored by South Florida Allied Health, located in Boca Raton, Florida, specializing in men's health, women's health, medical weight loss, IV therapy infusion, testosterone therapy, and hormone replacement therapy. Florida residents only. Well, here we are, episode 109, 109. And on the 109th episode, we're going to talk about 1983. We're going to talk about albums and soundtracks that are turning 40 this year. Some have already turned 40 since we're halfway through the year. And it's only me and Professor Lou. That's all we need. Jack, Mark Smith, we don't need them stinking badges. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a little reminiscing of 1983.
The KOFB studio presents Milk Crates and Turntables, a music discussion podcast hosted by Scott McLean. Now, let's talk music. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Amanda, for that wonderful introduction as usual. Welcome to the podcast. You know the name, I'm not going to say it. We are streaming live through, let's see, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, D-Live, what else? It's a couple other live streaming things. You know, if you've been listening long enough, you know. But yeah, so first there was 4. Then there was 3, then there was 2, and now there's 1 waiting for 2. See, Lou has this thing that he has to reboot his computer before every show, and, well, depending on when he decides to reboot the computer, depends on when he comes on the show. See, it's unpredictable. Like Professor Lou, unpredictable. You know? So, it's me for now, but I know how to handle this. I know what to do. I'm a veteran at this. 109 episodes. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of episodes. 109 episodes. And no end in sight. There's always something to talk about when it comes to music. And, yeah, this week, like I had said in the intro, we're going to be talking about the year 1983. So the original topic was albums and soundtracks that turned 40 this year. So, well, that's 1983. So instead of drawing out that long title, just say we're talking about 1983. Because if we talk about the albums, we're going to talk about the songs. It's all relevant. So while I'm waiting for Lou, which, listen, this could be, he could pop on in 30 seconds or 30 minutes. We don't know. But while I'm waiting, let's go over some major events. Major news that happened in the year 1983. See, I put in the 83. That's pretty much the demographic of this podcast. And we don't talk too much about new music. I personally would don't want to talk about new music because it's very limited out there to what I would listen to. I come across things, but nothing ever really seems to stick. There's just so much. That's number one. There's so much out there. Whereas when we were growing up, say in 1993, everything was spoon-fed to us, right? Everything was spoon-fed. Let's see how this plays out. I'm going to bring the one, the only Professor Lou Calicchio from the Music Relish podcast.
Good evening.
Look at that. The microphone works.
Everything. Chuckle.
The microphone. Oh, wait. Look at you with the background. I love it.
I'm in Paris this week.
I love how the letters. Oh, so I guess in Paris the letters are all backwards.
Yes, pretty much. And I'm right-handed. We're at Cheyenne. I'm at Cheyenne.
Well, the way I see it, it's hey, good evening, Dave Phillips, King of the 45s, Patty Yossi, biggest fan of the show. Thank you for tuning in. Lou, so
yeah,
for the podcast listeners, so Lou, I love this. You're the best, buddy. You're the best.
Thank you.
He's got the background, right? But to his left, which would be to my right as I'm looking at the screen, yeah, he's got like the mic stand, like his drum kit, like there's a definitive line to his background. It just ends.
I'm hiding shit behind me. Well, it only goes so far. It's part of a link. Now, if I do this,
a little better. Okay, but it's still okay. That's better. It's been listen. I see what you mean.
You got me. Like I'm getting some.
No, push it backwards. Push it back.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
little more to the left.
I know. It's actually to the right.
There you go. See that? That looks better. Look, hey, buddy. A for effort, man. A for effort.
You can call me Louis.
Louis. He's Professor Louis. How you doing? Good?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah.
Doing all right. Good to be back, not solo. I did a pop-up kind of last week, and I figured, I was home early. Well, I got back earlier than expected from St. Augustine. So, but good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you too. I've been to St. Augustine.
It's nice, right?
Yeah. It was with Perry and a friend of ours. We were on a road trip.
Oh, wow.
And of all places, we walk into this bar, and some guys from our town is there.
Oh, wow.
Where are you from? We go, Westwood, New Jersey. He's like, I lived on, Brick Hill Avenue for a thing. It's one of those things. So you're just like, of all places,
yeah,
walk into a strange city and you meet someone from home.
You see someone you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just stay in town? Did you get to go over to Anastasia Island, go to the beach?
It was a drop through for a night.
Okay.
On our way to Miami. We just, we got there in the late afternoon, got a hotel, and
a lot of bars there.
Yeah. We didn't really, unfortunately, we didn't really get to see much of the town. It was also 1989. So what I remember is
all different now. Yeah.
It's all different now.
Yeah. So right as you were popping on, we're going to be talking about 1983. We were originally adding in, it was going to be like bands that took like a left turn in their career, bands or artists that took a left turn. I was at the last minute, I changed it up and decided to kind of leave that off because I'd like to get Mark's input next week, and if Jack, if he's around, I think it would be a good conversation. Not that you and I couldn't do a 2-hour show with ease.
True.
We've been known to do that.
We've done it.
So
and there's some cool bands in there too. Some of the directions that they took. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I think people will be surprised at some of the bands. I think they really will be. So I was about to read off the top, like it's kind of a top 10 list maybe, or 10 events. Major news events that took place in 1983.
Okay, news events. I like this.
Yeah. So in 1983, the United States invaded Grenada.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. That was the Falkland Islands War.
The Falkland Islands, Yeah. President Ronald Reagan proposed the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI.
Yeah. That was Star Wars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best president ever.
Yeah.
I think now that you look back at history, you're like, the guy, he had shit under control.
He won 2 landslide elections.
Yeah, he had shit under control. The 80s was the best. The 80s was the best decade, man.
It was very interesting decade.
It was so, I mean, it was so decadent. And it was
yeah. And we
the
were
music
in our 20s.
was, you know.
We were young.
Yeah, we were young.
We were in our 20s.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah,
you know, the 60s were one thing. The 70s were pretty cool, but the 80s just was like.
The things kind of blew up a bit. You know?
Yeah.
The tail end of the 70s was a very weird, murky. We needed to kick out the jams a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But, we did.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
In 1983, the video game Mario Brothers, which the movie just, you know, made like $1.4 billion recently.
Wow.
Because it has no agenda. I could say that because Mark's not here and he's not going to go, here we go.
He might be typing in.
Right? Yeah, Mario Brothers was first released as a Nintendo arcade game in Japan in 1983.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also in 1983, the U.S. deploys cruise missiles in Europe at the Greenham Common Air Force Base in England. Yeah.
What was the reason for that?
I don't know. Reagan had a night. You know, he was keeping the residents. It's a Cold War, right?
Rattling the saber sword. So we deployed missiles to that airport.
It's an Air Force base. It's a Royal Air Force base. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. I was actually originally supposed to get stationed in Bentwaters Royal Air Force Base in England.
Oh, really?
Yeah, out of tech school, out of Law Enforcement Academy tech school. Then I went K9, so you lose your orders, and that's how I ended up in the Philippines.
Okay.
I couldn't lose either way. You know,
England's a cool place, man.
It would have been pretty real. Yeah, the music scene would have been a lot better than the Philippines, but
yeah.
I don't know if the partying. I think the partying is kind of head over. I mean, just it's miles. It's another stratosphere.
That's over the top.
Yeah, in the Philippines, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the Wild West, literally the Wild West. It was insane. So let me see. Also in 1983, a Brinks Mat warehouse robbery at Heathrow Airport, where they made off with 3 tons of gold bars valued at $37.5 million.
Wow. Was that the inspiration for that movie Buster?
Probably. That sounds right.
Okay,
yeah, with
wow.
Phil Collins. Yeah.
What a caper.
Yep. An IRA bomb exploded outside Harrods on December 17th during the pre-Christmas shopping season. The Troubles, as they call it in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
The Troubles. The first mobile phones are introduced to the public by Motorola. 1983. The Brick.
Look like walkie-talkies.
Yes, the Brick. No, they were big. Yeah, they were big. Yeah.
How many waves came out of that into your brain?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. ARPANET, ARPANET, ARPANET officially changes to use the Internet Protocol, creating the Internet.
Wow.
I thought Al Gore created the Internet.
I thought so too.
Right?
And before or after that?
Is that one of the stupidest things ever said by a public official?
That's pretty bad. I mean,
I created the Internet.
Is that a quote unquote?
He said it.
He did.
Yeah. I created the Internet. Yeah.
Where's he now?
Oh, who cares? You know, he is. He's actually he's out conning people into giving him money for global warming events. Yeah,
he's doing speeches, and I guess that's what you do when you're a retired politician.
Yeah,
when somewhere or another, you're gonna.
I couldn't stand his wife Tipper. I could not stand her.
Yeah,
her and her fucking up on her.
PMRC, Parents Music Resource. They divorced, actually.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't vice president anymore. She didn't need him.
I didn't win the presidency, so it's done.
Hey, Tipper wasn't a bad-looking woman.
No,
She wasn't a bad look.
That's
She was
okay.
not. I mean, she wasn't Hillary Clinton. That's for sure. She was a lot better looking than Hillary Clinton. So anyway, that's Nancy Reagan was better looking than Hillary Clinton.
Eleanor Franklin.
Yeah. The final episode of MASH airs to a record 125 million viewers.
Yeah, wow.
In 1983.
Did you see it? And when
I
it
did.
happened?
I watched it at my house. My girlfriend Amy O'Brien was over. I think a couple friends were over. Yeah.
I was at my first bass player Kevin Humphreys' house, his family's house. I don't remember it. I don't remember the episode though. I remember I was there.
It was a very weird episode.
Yeah.
It had dark moments in it. It was but it was a great ending. Look at that. Kerry Trainer from Winthrop. I know you, Kerry. I know who you are, buddy. He's watching from Costa Rica. Yeah.
Nice.
He's got it. You know what? He's got a pretty nice hookup there. Pretty nice place going in Costa Rica.
Oh.
Yeah. Good for him, man. Good for him. And finally, in 1983, Cabbage Patch dolls are sold in shops, or I guess in Europe and in America. I think they're in England too. And we know how that went.
Didn't that start that whole collecting thing?
It was insanity.
I didn't get one.
It was total insanity.
I remember.
Did you just say I didn't get one?
I was on my Christmas list. I didn't get one. I remember I didn't have any children, but my brothers did, and like they're got to find some Cabbage Patch dolls.
Oh, look at Robert Kirkman. I guess we weren't acknowledging him, so he yelled at us
Goodbye.
in his capital letters. Goodbye. Bye, Karen. Bye, Karen.
Isn't it Ken?
Yeah. Yes. No, he's a Karen. He's a Karen. All right. So let's get into some albums. Uh-oh. My brother's watching. Oh, boy.
Family. It's family night.
Colin McLean. Well, if you listen, I don't know if anyone listens to the post credits, but he gets credit as an associate producer. Thank you. He used to be more involved. He's not that involved anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, he used to call me before the show. What are we talking about? What are you gonna? Nah, once I got successful and big and popular, he just kind of wants to ride the wave now. He just wants his name in the credits.
He had to tune into his second favorite thing.
Yeah. Let me see. What did he just say? He said, just got done with my almond fix. I tell you, Almond Brothers. Had to tune into my second favorite thing, Big Lou.
Hey, man.
Got a fan, Lou. You got a fan.
Hi, Colin.
All right, I'm going to tell you a quick story. He probably doesn't want me to tell him this, but my life's an open book.
Do tell.
It just happened recently. It just happened recently. So my brother, he says I built this show. You know what?
It's like having Jack on the show.
Let me see, Dave Phillips. It's like having Jack on the show.
You guys bicker back and forth.
Let me see. Dave Phillips, King of the 45s, just messaged in. My daughter was born in 82. It was a scramble for those dolls in 83. If she's only one, what the hell are you getting her a doll like that for, dude? You could give her the stuffing out of out of the box, and she'd think it's great. What do you see? He got caught up in it. Dave Phillips got caught up in it. So, what was it? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday. So my brother, my brother's had some problems in his life. He's a survivor. He's a cancer survivor, right? Yeah. He's had it like 4 times. I say that. I don't know why I just laughed when I said that. I don't know why.
Tell the story, focus.
I don't know why I just laughed at that. He's cancer 4 times.
That's like, hey, brothers.
He lost his left leg when he was younger, but he's a survivor, right? Tough kid, tough kid, tough guy. He's 62 now or something, but this is a story of the old bull type story, right? Don't fuck with the old bulls, right?
Right.
There's a reason they're old, right? They just kind of do that thing. So I guess he takes the subway into Boston. He's going to work. He comes out. I guess he goes upstairs to Government Center, which is, Lou, you wouldn't know. That's downtown Boston. City Hall is there. It's one of the major train stops.
Okay.
He goes upstairs, and it's kind of like a pyramid with a flat top. kind of, right? It's not big, but that's how the building looks when you come up out of it. I guess he's standing around the corner, lights a cigarette. Why he still smokes, I don't know. That's another conversation for another time. And I guess some guy comes around the corner, like hustling around the corner, and bangs into him. Almost knocks him over, right? So I guess the guy stops, turns around and goes, "What the fuck, man?" Like it was my brother's fault for standing there, right? And my brother hauls off, punches him in the face.
All right.
Drops the guy to his knees, right? And the thing is, he's a lefty and he hit him with his right. So he hits him square between the eyes, right? Drops the dude, messes his hand up in the process. That's how hard he hit him. I guess the dude goes to his knees. The fucking cop runs over. Now, this is Boston, right?
All right.
Cop runs over, grabs the guy. I guess saw what happened or something. Put the guy down, cuffed him. Okay. And he asked my brother, evidently, what do you want me to do with him? You want to press charges? And my brother said, press charges? Why the fuck would I do that? I'll just go to court. They'll end up arresting me for fucking hitting this guy. Like, what do I want to do that in the cop? He goes, yeah, you got a point there. He goes, I'll just take him for drunk and disorderly or whatever he was. He goes, I'll just hold him.
Good thing the cops aren't being aggressive on him. Colin, I'm a lefty too, and they never see it coming.
So when I was growing up, I know this is a music show. This is a music podcast. But when I was growing up, like to this day, I still stand lefty. Like I punch lefty, and it's probably because of him. But I can hit lefty and righty. My middle brother was a righty. My oldest brother's a lefty. I can kind of hit with both hands. My father used to make me stand righty, and I'm like, no, I like standing lefty. It doesn't
feel right.
Yeah. And so I kind of learned that I can hit with both hands, which was a big advantage.
It becomes in handy. Yeah.
It's a big advantage because it doesn't matter what arm is being held. You can just throw the other one accurately with the same amount of force,
Less handicap.
Came in handy. Unfortunately for other people. But yeah, so those are 10 things that happened in 1983. Let's see. So we were going to, what do you want to do first? We want to do the soundtracks first?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's do some soundtracks that came out. So that, movies that came out in 1983. Some of the soundtracks, some of them are good. So the first one I have is, I've never, believe it or not, I've never seen this movie. Right? The Big Chill.
Yeah. I've never seen it all the way through.
I've never seen that movie. I just was never.
I wasn't into it when it came out.
Yeah. So it's like the album is only like 31 minutes long or something, it looks like. Right? Soundtrack. Got Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye version. You got My Girl by the Temptations. Good Lovin', The Rascals. The Tracks of My Tears. Smokey. When Smokey Sings. Smokey Robinson, The Miracles. Joy to the World, Three Dog Night. Ain't Too Proud to Beg, The Temptations. You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, Aretha. I Second That Emotion. Smokey gets 2 songs on the soundtrack. Whiter Shade of Pale, Procol Harum. I think that was like one of the big moments in the movie, I think.
Also in the, what do you call it? Non-Motown.
Right. And Tell Him by the Exciters. So, not a bad soundtrack.
Wait, I know a thing about love.
Yeah.
Cool.
You've never seen the movie either?
I've seen parts of it.
All right.
You actually looked up the songs, because I kind of had to do a little crash course on things, but you got the songs of the sound. I got some soundtrack titles, but I remember some of the songs though.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. I'm the host. I should be a little more, prepared since I don't work either, Lou. So.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't. I mean, I'm retired.
You are retired. But
you're the one. You have the job.
Yeah, I got 2. Actually,
you got 2 jobs.
I have to play drums at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday.
But you're in Paris right now, so
I'm in Paris. Yes, and I'm.
Just look at your background.
I'm doing silent drums to a mime school tomorrow.
You're playing air drums at a mime school tomorrow in Paris.
It's a gig, you know.
Lou shows up in white face and a beret, with the fucking black and white striped shirt, east to west, the suspenders, the black pants, the tight black leather shoes, and just starts air drumming.
Air drumming, no stick. And they can dance to it.
And then all the mimes start dancing. They're all dancing to your air drum.
It's my mime squad. Chez Louis mime
Oh my God.
Mime Lou.
Oh shit.
Did you ever see the movie Shakes the Clown with Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yeah. I was never a big fan of him, but yeah, it is a little.
No, me neither. I just, the movie is about just
Yeah.
Robin Williams as a mime coach. Just,
Yeah. Let me see. Dave Phillips, King of the 45, says Smokey, 2 songs. He also wrote My Girl. So there you go.
wow. There you go. Very cool.
So what do you got, Lou?
I think 1983 as well. Eddie and the Cruisers.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
On the far side.
On the dark side.
Dark side. Yeah. That was
tender years.
It was what's his name in the Beaver Brown band?
John Cafferty.
John Cafferty, the Beaver Brown band. We saw him play at a club in Falmouth, Cape Cod, one summer.
I did too.
We were there. He just happened to be there playing. We didn't like go out of our way to see him, but it was cool to see it.
Yeah. Did you see the movie?
I did. I probably watched, I don't remember much of it, but
yeah, it was Michael Paré played, I guess he was Eddie.
Yeah.
And Tom Berenger was the keyboard player. He was the lyricist. He was called the Word Man. That was their
Who was it?
Tom Berenger.
Oh, Tom Berenger.
Yeah.
Didn't the dude that played Eddie, he went on to play in some TV series.
Really?
Like a detective or something, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he did some like sort of spy movies, nothing much after that.
Yeah, nothing, yeah.
In the summer of '84, I worked at the Bottom Line in New York City. It was a nightclub. And so they did a night there, they do 2 shows. And it's kind of funny. They weren't bad, but a lot of people were calling out Bruce like while he was playing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it was pretty shitty, you don't want to hear that when you're playing a gig, and I mean there were some comparisons, I would say, sure, but at one point he stopped, he goes, well, actually Bruce and I are good friends, like stop. But it was good. It was a good show. The sax player in that band was actually the sax player in the movie. He played a character in the movie, but the rest of the band just were in the soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All
right. 1983. What's that? 1983. The King of Comedy came out.
Yeah.
King of Comedy.
One of my favorite movies.
That was an interesting movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soundtrack. Back on the Chain Gang. Pretenders. Tain't Nobody's Business If I Do. BB. Swamp by the Talking Heads. King of Comedy. Bob James. Rainbow Sleeve by Ricky Lee Jones. Between Trains. Robbie Robertson. Steal the Night. Rick Ocasek. Come Rain or Come Shine. Ray Charles. The Finer Things. David Sanborn. And Wonderful Remark. Van Morrison.
I think Robbie Robertson supervised the soundtrack. Yeah, I think that was he.
Did he really?
He organized the music. I believe he's the musical director for the movie. Yeah, him and Martin Scorsese, with the last waltz on, they did a lot of. We talked about Robbie Robertson on last week's Music Relish, and talking about a lot of the soundtrack work he did. He's done more soundtrack work than real albums, rock albums, because he's done so many movies. That's a great movie though. All right, Flashdance was a big movie at that period. With,
Michael sure
Cimbello's title track. Did he?
Yeah. Yep. That will come up later on in the show. Yep. Let's see. See this one. Let me take a look at this one. Not coming up. Why ain't it coming up? Let me see. Oh, this one came out in 1983.
Yeah.
Risky Business.
I hate that friggin' Bob Seger song.
Oh man, that's what made me not like Bob Seger anymore. Like I went on this years, I think probably decades, just not liking Bob Seger. That song, And then that shakedown that he did for Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah.
Shakedown, breakdown. Everybody got to do this. I was like, nah, I'm done with Bob Seger.
I was never the biggest fan. I like him enough, but
Jesus.
That intro, that piano intro, that song, just I never liked it.
Yeah. So, old time rock and roll, Bob Seger. The dream is always the same. Tangerine Dream. No Future. Get Off the Babysitter. Tangerine Dream. Guido the Killer Pimp. Tangerine Dream.
Great name.
Lana. Tangerine Dream. Manish Boy. Muddy Waters. Best song in the whole movie. The Pump. Jeff Beck. DMSR by Prince. After the Fall. Journey. Oh, no. You know what the biggest song was in that movie?
No.
You remember? Biggest song. And this was a pretty big fucking song. In the Air Tonight.
Was Risky Business?
Phil Collins.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. And Love on a Real Train.
Well, a lot of Tangerine Dream on that.
Should have just called it a Tangerine Dream album with guest stars.
Musical producer.
You know?
Definitely had a crush on that.
Tangerine Dream. Tangerine Dream was, yeah. What do you
Easy
got?
Money soundtrack. Rodney Dangerfield. That string of cheap but funny movies he made in the early 80s. Back to School. That was some fun. But the Billy Joel song, Easy Money. Scandal's Love's Got a Line on You was in that.
Right.
The Weather Girls, It's Raining Men is on that. Okay, that's I think all I got.
Right.
Easy Money.
1983. This is the track listing, but it's got to be more than this. It's got to be more than this. Because the movie. Let me see something. 16 Candles came out in 83. Right. Let me see something.
And
I know
Molly
there has to be
played
more.
Jeffrey Dahmer's stepmother in that Dahmer series.
I didn't watch that series, man. Was it worth? Was it
interesting?
Worth the whole,
I think you need to get a couple one into it to find out. It's not so much as gory, at least the first two were, but it's just like how we became that way. But I didn't get that far into it. I just kind of didn't feel like it.
Let me see. Gotta be here. All right, so you have there's more songs on this. Show all the tracks. So 60, because I know that was a whole album. I don't know why this website only gives me 5. And that means the other albums had more. You had The Garden. It was an instrumental by Kaja Gugu. Love the Common People by Paul Young. Peter Gunn by Ray Anthony in his orchestra. Nobody mentioned that in instrumentals, did they?
So.
Or did somebody?
No, we did. I don't think we did.
Somebody did. Yeah, you have to. True by Spandau Ballet. So true. Funny how it seems. Yeah. Wild Sex, Oingo Boingo. Little Bitch by The Specials.
Yeah.
Gloria, Patti Smith. Tonight I Met the Boy I'm Gonna Marry, Darlene Love. Young Americans, David Bowie. Whistle Down the Wind, Nick Haywood. Rev Up, The Revelos. Too Shy, Kaja Gugu. Snowballed, AC/DC. Yeah. Dragnet, Ray Anthony and his orchestra. Let me see. Rumors in the Air, Night Ranger. Growing Pains, Tim Finn from Crowded House, right? When It Started to Begin, Nick Haywood. Lenny by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. Bring Me Up, The Divinals. Turning Japanese, Boston's own The Vapors. Right? Yeah, from Boston. Yep. Oh, you can't put that song out today. Oh, no. They would fucking lose their minds. Even though the sexual innuendo would be right up their alley, feeding it to kids, but listen, they played in the 80s, but just the fact you say, but wait a minute. They don't care about Asians. Anyways, moving
there
on.
you go again.
Here
I'll
we
say
go
like
again.
your favorite president. There you go again. You like one of my
don't do Michael
impersonations
McDonald.
Finally. I work on these things, man.
Let me see. Farmer John, the premieres. Hang at the Phone, Annie Golden. Theme from New York, Frank Sinatra. Young Guns by Wham. Rebel Yell, Billy Idol. 16 Candles by the Stray Cats. Happy Birthday, Altered Images. Happy birthday. Yeah, I heard it. As a matter of fact, I heard it yesterday.
That's funny.
I heard it yesterday on New Wave. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
but she's got that voice. She got that voice. Pretty much my favorite song on this soundtrack, "If You Were Here" by the Thompson Twins. Very subtle song. You didn't know that they sang it because it wasn't in there. I think it was the final song of the movie. Our House by Madness. Anytime. Journey.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good soundtrack, man. Today I Met the Boy I'm Gonna Marry, Darling Love, Take a Chance, The Vinyls, Kaja Gugu, Addicted to Love, Robert Palmer. Yeah, that's a good soundtrack, man. I don't know why this fucking site, it just gives me like, I'm like, there can't be 5 songs.
Easy Money one had like, Rodney Dangerfield singing the Tarantella. I mean, that's a part of the soundtrack, but I don't want no one wants to care about that.
Yeah.
About you. National Lampoon's Vacation. What's on that? Holiday Road. The main theme from Lindsey Buckingham. Kiss from a Rose, sung by Christina Applegate. And that's really Without You by Harry Nilsson. Let's see, that's all I can find on that. Yep. Holiday Road is a good song. Wait, there's got to be more. The Ramones Blitzkrieg Bop is on that. Give me some titles here.
Yeah. We
got time. The Fleetwoods, Mr. Blue. I'm Mr. Blue. Ramones Blitzkrieg Bop. It's Nicolette Larson, Summer Hearts. June Pointer, the Pointer Sisters, Little Boy Sweet. Let's see, Vanity 6. He's so dull, so duff. He's so dull. Who the hell's Ralph Burns? Lindsey Buckingham, Dancing Across the USA. So I had a couple well-known songs in there I could find.
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to find this thing is so in 1983 did you see this movie Rumble?
Yes, Matt Dillon's in it, I think. Is that
it's one of those black and white. It's black and white, but only the fish and the fish tank were in color. Yeah, pretty cool. So now I'm having a hard time getting back to this. What?
I miss Colin's Rupert Pupkin post. The king of comedy.
Oh, what did he say? What did he say?
Remember his Jerry Lewis's his butler, the Chinese guy, Mr. Pumpkin.
Yeah. A very weird movie,
Dark
right?
Comedy.
Let's see. So I'll just go to Rumblefish, which I liked. It's a good, it's actually a good rewatch too. It's one of those movies
Is that Francis Ford Coppola?
Yes, it is. Stewart Copeland.
That's right.
He was music production in that. Let's see. Stan Ridgway, Don't Box Me In. From. Yeah. Wasn't really any other real songs on there now that I look at it. Nothing that was of any significance.
Staying Alive soundtrack. the sequel to Saturday Night Fever.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's got "I'm Never Gonna Give You Up." I don't know if that's not the Rick Astley song. By Frank Stallone. "Breakout" by the Bee Gees. "I Love You Too Much" by the Bee Gees. Tommy Farragher. That name sounds familiar. I think he's a guitar player. "We Dance So Close to the Fire." "Someone Belonging to Someone," Bee Gees. Not a whole lot of material there. Frank Stallone was big on that. "Far From Over." "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees. "Life Goes On" by the Bee Gees. Frank Stallone, another one, "Moody Girl" and "The Woman in You" by the Bee Gees. That movie apparently didn't. I don't think that was a big hit. I think it was a big disappointment, obviously, after.
Yeah, it was a big. Wasn't
it Tony Manero or something? He went Broadway. Didn't work.
Yeah, he went Broadway, and it was
Saturday Night Fever is a great movie. It wasn't.
Of course, it was. That's a classic, right?
It had to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's about. I think we,
it's a movie called Local Hero. It was Burt Lancaster and I think I was Peter Riegert. Something took place in Scotland about the sale of a piece of property by the ocean, but Mark Knopfler did the soundtrack to it. So I think the song "Local Hero" got some play.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing, no pieces I can recall. It's just beautiful music, instrumental music. It takes place in Scotland. It definitely has like a Celtic feel to it, but just a beautiful sounding soundtrack though. Just makes for great background listening and just hanging around the house. But I know the song "Local Hero" itself made it to the radio.
Did Scarface come out in '83?
I think the soundtrack was released. No. It had that hit song, "My Little Cockroach."
Yeah, why was the soundtrack released in '83? But I know the movie. Yeah.
What's
that's weird, right?
Chainsaw song.
So you have
like Jackal.
"She's on Fire," Rush. Is that Paula Abdul's Rush? I want to try to find this. This is interesting now. Complete soundtrack, Spotify. Let's see if Spotify has it. So you have Rush, Debbie Harry. That's what it was. "Turn Out the Light," Amy Holland. What other songs they have in there? "It's Hot Tonight," Giorgio. Yeah, not really anything on it. I thought there would have been more on that.
I'm trying to recall any kind of music you might have heard. It would have been more ethnic, I would think. Like maybe Miami Sound Machine or something. Not an unfair bet.
Yeah, right.
Guess, but.
No. So let's go. Let me get out of this. Let's go into albums. Albums from 1983.
Good year for albums. Yeah. Yep.
Really good year.
40 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'll start off with the Eurythmics.
Yeah.
"Sweet Dreams," right? Let's see. That was the first of two Eurythmic albums released in 1983, actually. Yeah. And they were around for a little while before they hit it. Dave Phillips said, "Anybody mention Burning Down the House?"
Is that a movie?
Where's that from?
Yeah.
I know the song, but where did it come from? I don't know. I guess my brother bailed. He's gonna walks his dog and listens to the on YouTube later. So thank God. Thank God. Yeah, so that came out. That was what really that launched them. That was talk about a heavy radio play, MTV. Yeah.
What
do you got from '83?
No surprise to anybody. Blue Oyster Cult, "The Revolution by Night." It had one top 40 hit.
Right.
That was not sung by the guy that sang "Don't Fear the Reaper" and Blue Oyster Cult. He was the actual lead vocalist of the band. He just didn't have the early hits. Eric Blue.
It was
I'm
Burning for You,
and was on the album before that. But "Don't Fear the Reaper" and "Burn a Few" were sung by Buck Dahmer, the lead guitar player. So that's the confusion with that band lies in a lot of ways, that people think he was the guy that sung "Don't for the Reaper" was the lead vocalist of the band, but he sang a couple songs per album. So anyway, so Eric Bloom, the main lead vocalist, got his first and only top 40 hit with a song called "Take Me Away." I think it was co-written with Aldo Nova. Remember him? "Life is Just a Fantasy."
Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi's
really?
cousin.
Get out of here! They're cousins.
Yep. He was a hit before. He was a hit before. You know, "Life is just a fantasy. Can't you see the fantasy life? Yeah. Oh no! Oh no!" And the video. The video,
that's
and he
right.
shoots the lasers, the laser from his guitar. Choo choo comes out of the helicopter. You know, choo 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 choo.
Yeah, oh yeah.
In his little boots.
He's a little guy. He's a little dude.
He's a little dude. Yeah, John Bon Jovi's
I think he's
cousin.
written some other songs that were pretty well known. One of those guys, you're like, Aldo Nova wrote that, huh? But I think it was the last solid record they really made until the very last one from 2 years ago. It was the first one without original founding member Albert Bouchard. He was a drummer and he played every instrument, but he was one of their best songwriters. And that band was never the same after that. But it's a pretty solid album for them. But they're a lighting manager. The first time I went to see Blue Oyster Cult, I'm pumped to go see him. You know, it's like I'm a big fan of the drummer. And we're at Madison Square Garden. I get there, and when they start playing, I'm like, there's some other dude on the drums. You know, it was they fired him the show before. So as fate would have it, I never got to see them in their classic lineup. But it was a good show nevertheless. But anyway, so that was their 1983 album. That was their peak, commercial peak. You know, it didn't do as well as the album before that had Burn a Few on it, and from there it went down. You mentioned a song to me, one of the worst songs you ever heard. It was a Blue Oyster Cult song. I forgot the title of it, and I went back and listened to it, and it was truly awful. I forgot the name of the song, but I went back. I said, "This is just like, who wrote this?" I mean, it was god awful. But then they didn't make a record for like 18 years after that. So yeah,
exactly.
It was
brutal, brutal
song.
song.
I'm like, this is shit, you know. And I'm a fan, you know.
Yeah,
I love them. But
yeah, I know.
Redemption came 18 years later with a pretty solid album, you know. But it was a good record.
Yeah.
And that was the record I was in my my Walkman when I went out and I drank 15 Suffering Bastards at some Polynesian restaurant and threw up in my sleep. Yeah, bad news. Bad. Never did that again. Yeah.
Oh. Do you ever drink?
There was
what was the drink?
Well, Suffering Bastards.
Suffering Bastards.
It was 15 different rums.
What's in it?
I ate a lot too. It was a band party. It was terrible. I can power through anything just about it.
And you're not a big dude. I'm not dogging you. You're not like a big guy that can. Big guys can drink all that shit and be like, yeah.
But 180 pounds. But I'm not
it.
slight, but I'm not that big, you know.
But back then, we were all smaller back then, right?
But that was just terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we've all had those experiences, dude.
And my cassette. My cassette of Blue Oyster Cult. Mark likes that story.
1983, Bryan Adams, Cuts Like a Knife. That launched him. Still a great song.
Yeah.
Still to this day, a great song. Not a song that I hear as often as I used to. But always, it's one of those songs that I won't turn off if it comes on the radio.
Some of his stuff I don't like the bigger ballady type stuff, but some of it is kind of, is that meat and potatoes rock singles.
Well, somebody that maybe took a left turn in their career.
He kind of went in that direction.
He kind of went in that
co-writing with some of those
direction.
well-known big ballad writers.
He soundtrack songs, and then he got into the fashion world, and he was in the 90s, and he was all trying to change his image. And so he might be brought up next week. Anybody's a fucking photographer today. You know what? My father was a photographer, a real photographer around Boston around the Massachusetts area, Boston for 50 years. Now, that's when photographers had to do f-stops. And they had to fucking set the meters, light meters. And, they had to get everything right. And they knew exactly what they would do. And they had to change out lenses. And they had to change, film and make sure everything's right and get in there and carry a big camera bag and, have everything ready. Today, it's a fucking handheld computer. Like, I don't have to do. So you got a big fancy lens. You know what I mean? But it's a computer.
Yeah.
It's not a photographer. I collect cameras. I collect old cameras. I have a pretty good collection of them. And I consider each one of them, old school cameras, a piece of art. They are literally a piece of art. Most all of them were handmade, right? Which you don't see that anymore. And they're just holding them. They're just so much better. They're just such a different feel to them. They're all pieces of art. And I don't know, I got 40 or 50 of them. Movie
Super
cameras,
8,
like old, Super 8s. Yep. And 16 millimeters I have. I have a projector, a couple of projectors, old school projectors. And I just love them. I think aesthetically, they're much better looking than these new cameras today. Again, anybody can be a photographer today. Anybody. You used to have to, they called it trick photography, right? Like my father superimposed my face in a black and white picture in the clouds over the city of Boston, right?
Yeah.
That takes talent back then.
Photoshop it.
Now you just have fucking Photoshop or whatever.
Yeah.
Adobe, whatever, and just fucking, I can do that on my phone.
It's just a program,
Yeah, I could do it on my phone, but back then photography was real
cinematography too. Like some of these movies they had to shoot, it's under those type of conditions, like Apocalypse Now, things like that. The Godfather scenes, I believe they got some of that weird color. It looks like an old 1940s movie by accident, just because of the lighting and what they had. They had to shoot that day. So they had to think on the spot and use materials that are around you in order to create these effects that look so great.
Yeah. So Cuts Like a Knife also had Straight from the Heart on there. Right? Yep, had Straight from the Heart. The album reached the top 10, the Billboard 200. And it was platinum. It was a pretty good debut. Yeah. And then he came out with Reckless in 84. Yeah. That went 5 times
the peak, and then he went Hollywood.
Yeah.
ZZ Top Eliminator. Yep. Change of direction. Right? Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. You can say that.
Oh, image-wise, the whole sound of the band, they kind of kept, it took a while for, people reading about those albums in retrospect, just saying he's still playing blues licks. They just changed a lot of the rhythm to it and added some sequencers and stuff. I know, like Sharp Dressed Man and, just Legs. Those songs were huge hits.
Legs.
And that's another vehicle for MTV where, that look was weird. A lot of guys look like that now, actually. Back then, ZZ Top with the long beards and that whole mysterious.
So whoever their promotion department, whoever ran the promotion department for the record company, it's fucking brilliant. Because they made a whole series of videos based on that whole
around that car.
Around the car. Yep. Remember, they were just ghosts. Didn't say a word. They weren't really the video. They were in the video, but it was all around that car, which I think Billy Gibbons owned that car, I believe. And they just kind of created this whole new image that nobody had ever seen before. They do the sequence. Yep. Steps back, forth, side to side, spin the guitars,
the belt buckle adjustments.
Yep.
And girls.
Girls, so right? I saw that tour. Yeah. Oh, those girls, the 3 girls were in every video, right? And then it went to Rough Boy, right? Rough Boy. Was that on Eliminator?
Yeah.
The next one, because Rough Boy took place in space, which is one of my favorite. I love that song. It's such a cool fucking song. It's just so out of the
it's a ballad of sorts. Yeah,
very slowed down.
Yeah,
nice groove, good lyrics. Billy Gibbons with that distinct voice. One of my favorites, dude. That band, I saw them 6 times, you know, and as you know by now, I don't usually see bands more than once. There's a small, I could probably fit it on both hands, 10 fingers. Dave Phillips, never saw them. Yeah. Last time I saw them was at the Jackie Gleason Theater. I believe it was Jackie Gleason Theater in Miami. Tell you what, man, fucking Dusty Hill, God rest his soul. His bass was so deep. You could feel it in your chest. He just had that sound, man. And I won't see them again now that he's not part of it. I just won't. I couldn't.
Just like Steely Dan's opening up for the Eagles on their final tour, and it's not Steely Dan.
See,
even Donald Fagen, it's not Steely Dan.
No, our friend Tom Spallone, actually, back when he was involved in podcasting,
not other things.
He's moved probably 10 things since then. He asked me if I wanted to go see Steely Dan. I was like, I can't do it, man. Walter Becker's not with. I can't do it. He was like, I just couldn't.
Do this then. Call yourself Donald Fagen. And then he should just call it. Donald Fagen. It's your
Donald
band.
Fagen,
no one else's. No.
It's not like there was 4 of them, and now there's 3 of them, and they can still
too important. They were too important to duo.
Too important. Yeah, I mean, they were a duo. That's it. Now, Daryl Hall doesn't go out. I just mixed them up totally.
Daryl Oates.
Fuck. John Hall. Daryl Hall doesn't go out on his own as Hall and Oates. You know what I mean? Like
it's disrespectful, kind of.
Just Daryl Hall.
I mean, Donald Fagen would probably beg to defer, but
yeah, and maybe Becca told him, "Hey, just keep going, man. Just keep going." And he said, "All right, we'll do it." Maybe he offered. We don't know. Maybe he said, "Hey, keep going, keep going, keep the music alive." Right. Plus, Becca's family still gets money from it, I suppose.
Co-written. I mean,
I would think so.
Did they ever have any? I know they co-wrote, but they had other people would pop in as writers on their stuff. I think. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure after a while everybody does. Like a lot of people don't know Aerosmith had writers
in the 80s. Like Holly Knight.
80s.
A lot of the big.
Yeah. And into the 90s.
That's a record company too. I said, listen, you guys are back. But they were a blues rock band, really. And you can tell they didn't write in that vein that they were. I mean, they had some great big hits, but they didn't write it. Other people did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I saw Hall & Oates too, Dave Phillips. Yeah, I saw them. They're good. They were very
during
good.
The 80s heyday? Or?
No, I saw them when I first started dating my now wife, probably back in, we met in 2012, beginning of 2012. So it was somewhere in 2012, early 2013. Okay. I saw them at the Hard Rock in Seminole Hard Rock Casino. Hollywood, Florida, which I just got 2 tickets to see Morrissey. Yeah, on October 8th. 3rd time. So I've been lucky to see him twice, and he hasn't canceled. I was going to go up to Boston to see him a few years back, and my wife says, "Are you sure you want to take that chance?" And I was like, So I didn't. Wow. Okay. He canceled. That would have sucked if I bought plane tickets to go up there. But this time I actually bought ticket insurance.
Okay.
I never do that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never heard of ticket insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, ticket insurance. Ticketmaster offers it in case it gets canceled.
Gotcha.
You don't have to eat them. So yeah. What did you just give an album? I get sidetracked.
Okay.
So easy.
The Fix, Reach the Beach. That's the only Fix record I have. Yeah.
Stand
One
Off
Thing
Fall.
Leads to Another.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Stand or Fall, I think, was their first hit. Stand or fall with the walking the horse on the beach. Makes no fucking sense. None of it makes sense. Or Red Skies at Night. Was Red Skies at Night
I think
on
that sounds Reach the Beach.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That
a unique sound.
Now this was the year that I saw the Fix, Flock of Seagulls, and the Police at Sullivan Stadium, where the old stadium the Patriots used to play at.
Wow.
All day event. Yeah.
Flock of Seagulls was that
all day event.
That big album, 82 or 83.
And I ran.
Something to remind me. Photograph. What is it?
Yeah, Photograph. Yeah.
And
that's a good song.
I like that a lot of that music, but I thought they were, the whole new wavy, over the top hair thing. I thought it was kind of weird, but I was a little more laid back than that. But like in retrospect, some of that music was really good. I mean, it goes without saying. Even like Flock of Seagulls, they almost had like a sort of almost like a novelty attitude. Like Men at Work have a kind of a novelty aspect to them. But there's some really good songs in all those albums. It's just, I think those are just the times, and in videos you had to present yourself in a certain way. But the '59 Cadillac hairdos, it's pretty cool when you think about it. From the Flock of Seagulls, yeah. I mean, it made it to Pulp Fiction, remember?
Yeah, except
Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, Flock of Seagulls, yeah. And the thing about that is people didn't take them seriously. People New Wave had its fans, but rock fans, metal fans, they were like, "Dah." Old said the 70s leftovers. Like my brother and his friends, like they used to just dog me relentlessly. Dog me relentlessly about the music I was listening to.
Well, what is that stuff? That kind of whether Duran could they're kind of feminine looking. Some of these bands that had crazy hairdo and makeup and stuff, but hey, man, so it's theater, it's performance, it's it's songs. What does the music sound like when you close your eyes?
My brother and his friend Joey Galvin Mocha, they used to fucking kill me. They call me Simon Le Bon every time they see me. Simon Le Bon, Simon. That's what they.
That's funny.
That's how they would say it too.
Oh,
I had the gel, I had the hair, I had the mullet, I had
man.
the popped collar, I had the fucking jean jacket or whatever, and they would just relentlessly call me Simon Le Bon. So, speaking of Men at Work, 1983, Cargo, right? And they had their Business as Usual, right? So yeah, Business as Usual.
That's right.
Was their first album, and then they had Cargo in '83. So you had two, and it was, let me see. Cargo had a pair of top 10 singles,
That's
Overkill and It's a Mistake.
What about
It's a Mistake?
Is that another one too?
Yep. Johnny, I think that was on their first album, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was on their first album. I think. I could be wrong. It went triple platinum, right, Cargo? And then I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, a month ago.
Yeah.
They fucking disappear. There was like no reason for this to stop. They had the formula. They had the formula. But I think there was just too long of a break in between records. And then like the saxophone player, who was actually a big part of that band, he was in every song. That sax, who can it be now? Starts off with that sax, which it wasn't supposed to, but the producer's like, wait a minute, that sound, let's kick it off with that, right? And they just fucking disappear. And Colin Hay goes on to have a pretty successful solo career. He can pull off singing like Sting, right? Sting said, "Do I really need these guys behind me to sing these songs?" Tales of the Blue Turtle or whatever the fuck solo album was, and Fortress, Fortress,
good
Inside
songs.
My Heart.
There's only one
they're Police songs, right? But they're just different musicians. Now, that is not to disrespect Stewart Copeland and the drum aspect of the Police songs, because his drummers became, compared to Sting's drummers, compared to him with the Police, became pretty simplistic.
Yeah,
If you look at the rhythms that Stewart Copeland was laying down, the beats, that jazzy offbeat, off tune, but it works. Like that's fucking that's masterful shit. Like if you can make that work, and if you listen, always do me a favor, people, when you listen to a Police song, fuck Sting, right? Fuck listening to listen to the drums in their songs. And follow the rhythm of them. It is. They're fucking offbeat.
What's the one song? Wrapped Around Your Finger. Even some of the more subtle songs, because I heard that yesterday. And he's playing very spare, but it's reggae is not. You can hear those kind of world influences in his playing. It's not always straight fours. Where listen, like Sting's Field of Gold, it's a straight ahead beat throughout the whole song. Could be a drum machine.
It's simplistic in a sense.
Once If I Ever Lose My Faith in You, the drumming is good, and the guy the drummer Sting has now is an amazing guy, Vinny Colaiuta.
I mean, of course, player,
yes. The guy could be playing a whole. He's done complicated jazz stuff, but even like Stewart stuff, it just it's very unusual.
So if this guy is replicating Stewart stuff, right? Then number one, he has to be good. But number two, the difference between him and Stewart Copeland is Stewart created those beats.
And also, you know what I mean? There was so much energy to it. And even like the first album, was more punk rock. I mean, the guy could wallop a drum kit too. He could pound the kit, like in a rock style too. But once by the third album, like Ghost in the Machine,
absolutely.
Spirits in the Material World, the drumming on that, it's just very, very unusual. Let
me see. What is Dave Phillips saying?
He's replying to himself.
So much better than. Mark Smith popped in and we didn't even notice.
Yes.
You saw that? Mark Smith says the show is much better with the professor without that wino.
Mark.
Wrecking one. He calls it Wrecking One.
Now. I'm all alone.
Wrecking Ball One, yeah.
You'll be back. Mark's in Brooklyn.
Hey, Mark, I actually put off one of the topics tonight just for you. And I guess Jack, but I know you'll be here next week. Jack, I don't know. But it's next week we're going to be talking about bands and artists that kind of took a left turn in their career and went in a whole nother direction, whether it's image or sound or whatever it is. So start doing your homework. Break that. Remember the notebook he was so proud of about 4 or 5 months ago?
He hasn't used it.
He still has it. Yeah, and it's probably nothing.
He doodles in like guitars.
He doodles in it. Yeah, there's fucking, he spills wine in it. It's got wine. He opens it up. It's got stains like a fucking 12-year-old. Like he was fucking eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches doing his homework, right? And he hands it in like, hands his paperwork in with spaghetti sauce on it. Yeah.
Ketchup.
That's what his notebook looks like. Where Lou's is meticulous.
It's in sections.
There it is. See, there it is.
Sections have different ideas.
Look
for podcasts.
That's that shit is not. That is not a
volume
thin
2 also, by
notebook.
The way.
Look at it.
I'm almost ready for volume 3.
Lou, can you leave that to me and you will?
It's yours.
Can you leave me your notebooks and you will?
It really is.
It's a morbid topic, but I got to claim it.
Yeah, man,
I like to have some sort of claim on that.
You can read from it in future shows.
Yeah. Dave Phillips says, good night, guys. Hey, Dave, always as you. Thanks for watching. Pick up the second half of the show tomorrow night. You know where to find it. Dave Phillips, king of the 45s. Yeah. So give me an album.
So you did Please Synchronicity. Robert Plant, The Principle of Moments. Good.
What's on it?
I'm in the mood for a melody. I think it's Burning Down One Side.
I love that song, man.
I think with that. Yeah, I think The Big Log. The big log is on that. That was a big
log.
Hit.
Yep.
It's weird. I really like that sound when he first came out with the solo stuff. Like I said, in high school, I wasn't a big Zeppelin fan. My appreciation came much later. I like them, but my son actually I'm weird with albums and songs that are on albums. Led Zeppelin, I have a what do you call it? A mental block about the succession of albums, except for the first and the last one. So my son knows which ones are on which better than I do. But I thought when he came out with that sound, it was a departure. I mean, talk about another left turn from what we knew Robert Plant to be. He still had a distinctive guitar player, but a totally different guitar player, a guy named Robbie Blunt. And I just like the feel. I mean, he had some great drummers playing his records. Phil Collins, the late great Cozy Powell. But it was a pretty fresh sound. I thought it wasn't new wave. It was rock, but it was just. I thought he did himself a great thing, you know, by reinventing himself as an artist with those early solo albums. I mean, I just thought it sounded great on the radio. It didn't sound. It was unusual. It was a little different.
Yes. Yeah.
But that was Robert Plant singing, but singing in a different kind of a different way. You know, he really did reinvent himself. With the long cool one. I mean, you're doing some rock, the Honey Drippers.
Long cool one.
So showed his scope as an artist. But I thought those records sounded great.
And then he met up with Alison Krauss and went to.
I like some of that stuff.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Nico Case. A lot of people don't like it, but you know. Mark Smith said Burning Down One Side is on Plant's first album, Pictures at 11.
Pictures at 11.
I like how Dave Phillips replied to himself. In his comments, Dave Phillips replying to Dave Phillips. Good night, guys. Go on, I'm sorry. I get distracted easily. You probably figure that out by now.
Many a shiny object on the horizon.
Hey, you know what album came out in 1983 that could hold on. I gotta let somebody in my
that Robert Plant record was recorded at Rockfield Studios that Mark was speaking about on our last Music Relish show. One of those studios where a lot of people recorded there. Lemmy, he could rattle off more names than I could, but that was definitely it was the studio out in the country. People like to stay there. There he is.
Mark Smith replying to Mark Smith.
Does that mean you're home?
Have a glass of Chardonnay.
Does that mean you're home or are you in Brooklyn still?
He replied to himself and then referred to himself in second part.
I have to say, given what I do for a living, Mark, you spell Chardonnay wrong all the time.
He doesn't care. He just drinks it. You think he studies the bottle like we studied album covers? No. He doesn't even look at the fucking bottle.
Women should not drink. And it leaves it at that.
Yeah. Women should not drink.
Mark, the last E should be an A. Just, I have to tell you.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I know that.
That's
Jesus.
Funny.
Jesus. What is wrong with you, man?
That's how they spell in Australia.
So, like I was saying, you know what album? Yeah, what's he drinking? The fucking white lizard tail wine or something like that?
Dingo baby.
Whatever he's drinking. Yeah, lizard tail wine. Yeah, this album came out in 1983, and as far as I'm concerned, it could fucking rotten album hell. Yeah, Styx. Kilroy was here. And I will not say another fucking word about it. We're moving on. Lou, give me an album. Fuck, move on.
I'm crossing off.
I had to put it out there.
Okay,
but move on.
Huey Lewis in the News, sports. What a big friggin' album, man.
Yeah.
Huge album.
Huge album.
But getting back to Styx.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Now that Huey Lewis record, I think that had two lives. They put it out, but I don't know if when they reissued it was huge, but I think it came out twice. But I think maybe in 83 it went out, but then it disappeared. Then they brought it back again, and it was a smash. But yeah, it had Heart and Soul.
I think you're right.
Was the Heart of Rock and Roll in that one? I think too. Yeah. What was their first big hit?
Yep. The first big hit is isn't it?
Actually, not on the sports record. It's on their album before that, I believe. Working for a Living.
What was it?
Taking what the giving comes.
Oh yeah. Working for a Living. Yeah. That was an MTV video.
Did you ever see the movie American Psycho?
All right.
Christian Bale.
Bits and pieces of it. Yeah, I've
terrifying and funny sequence where he's Christian Bale's killing someone to Huey Lewis's Hip to Be Square.
I just saw a clip of that. It's funny you said that. Yeah. Monster album in 1983. One of the monster albums of 1983. Arguably, maybe Synchronicity is a little a step ahead of this one. I don't know. You tell me. David Bowie, and Jack hates when I do that build up. He hates when I go, this album, and then this, and I do, and you always see his face go like,
you got to do it.
Hates when I do the build up. Yeah. It's a fucking podcast.
You segue into things.
You got to build it up,
out,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
David Bowie, Let's Dance.
Huge record.
Huge.
Yep.
Huge record. Dominated MTV, right? When it had it Let's Dance went to number 1.
Yep.
The song, right? Then you had a China Girl, Modern Love. They were in the top 20. I mean, so Let's Dance says also boasted several notable auxiliary players. I think we all knew this. I didn't know Omar Hakim, drummer.
Well, yeah,
right?
I didn't know he was on that record. I thought it was all Tony Thompson. Omar Hakim is a drummer on Sting's Dream of the Blue Turtles. I think
speaking of Sting, right?
Peter Gabriel's. No, was that? No. Anyway, but yeah, he was in Sting's band.
He's on it. I knew Nile Rodgers produced it, and Stevie Ray Vaughan played on it too. But yeah. China Girl, like you said, Modern Love, Let's Dance. It was just like a huge album. Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah, I love the concert.
Serious Moonlight.
Great fucking concert. Mm-hmm. Glad I got to see that. That was probably the peak of his career.
Yeah, commercial peak. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the commercial peak of his career. I'm sure he always put it, but that show was, a stadium show. We were down on the floor. Of course, I got in a fight with somebody. Unfortunately for them. And I'll tell you the story off the air. How it begins might not be approved.
Okay.
By some listeners.
Uh-oh.
How the fight began might not be approved. But anyways, moving on. Anyway, I kind of catch myself saying that.
Correct.
Jack's
correct me
in my fucking head. Jack's in my head. Anyway. Yeah, so that came out April of 83.
I liked it when it came out. I thought
So as it goes, Eliminator came out in March. Let's Dance came out in April. Cargo came out in April. It's like these albums came out all in a row. I just want to mention one because Mark Smith said it. The Final Cut, Pink Floyd, came out in March. So
boom, boom.
I mean, these are monster albums one after another. You don't see that shit anymore.
Album every 5 years.
Yeah. The Final Cut, Mark Smith says, Final Cut, Pink Floyd, my second favorite Floyd album. Still play it at least once a month. Perry Dedovich, the AI is in. He's watching. Perry replying to Perry, is this a thing now? This is my rifle. Not many like it. But this one is my private.
You were born again hard, Perry.
Show me your war face. Show me your war face. You don't scare me. Work at it.
What is Private Joker's name? He has a name.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
There's a scene where they're all running through the mud, in the backs, the cameras to their backs. They're helping Private Powell. You can see JT Davis on his on the back of his sweatshirt.
Good one, Lou. Very obscure, but solid.
He wasn't born Private Joker.
Yeah. No, that's right. Is that you, John Wayne? Is that me? Who said that? Who said that?
For that, they should have got an Oscar.
I'm telling you. Talk about a movie, and I always say this. Everybody knows it's two movies. It's two totally different fucking movies. And then they pick up right in the middle of Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like in fucking Saigon, right? Illinois, wherever the fuck they were.
$5 on my mama lets me spend.
Yeah. Well, that's what's his name?
Yeah.
The director Stanley
Filmed
Kubrick,
in England.
Dude is
genius filmmaker.
Genius, you know.
Except for Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. All right, back to the albums. I never saw that one.
Okay.
Give me
Elton John, Too Low for Zero. It has I'm Still Standing. Okay. That was a big, maybe it's like a comeback record for him. I think it was a commercial jump up from his like mid to late 70s period. I'm Still Standing. And one of my favorite Elton John songs, I guess that's why they call it the blues. It's a really great pop song. Great feel, a beautiful melody.
Yeah.
He's a great singer. Always has been. But I just think, even I'm Still Standing, you think about it, it's a well-played song, catchy as hell. MTV, that was was the summer of MTV, if you ask me. And
I had a girl sing me that one time when I was when that album came out. Yeah, we're driving in college.
That's why they called the blues.
Singing it to me.
There you go.
I guess they call. Yeah.
I had a long.
Right.
I had
and
a
the
long
rest, as they say, is
at
history.
That point, so there was a little kind of missy baby thing.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I think mine was a little long distance at that point. It wouldn't last much longer after that, though. But hey, you know what came out in 1983?
Yeah, it did.
U2 War. Yeah, and then came out in February.
It was ahead of its time.
February. It came out in February, and then February, March, April, May. Then in June, 5 months later, I was on stage with them. Did I ever tell you that story, Lou?
On your shoulders.
Yeah, I had his crotch in the back of my neck.
Concert crotch.
That's right. And I haven't washed the back of my neck since.
I think it was some sweaty swamp crotch. When that came out in February, I have memories of times that year when albums come out. And I remember hearing that in the winter. I still had an apartment with my brothers. And I had it was like an upstairs apartment. So the window was right near my bed. But I remember I'd keep a window open. And it was winter time. It was cold. I remember hearing that and just thinking, first time I heard those songs, you were like, what the hell, man? I heard that before I heard songs from Bowie. So War was kind of the first thing that I heard about.
Okay.
That was a period too. It was like real post-disco where, it wasn't slick at all. It was a pretty raw sound. But it was definitely, you're like, it grabbed your ear right away. And you're like, who are these guys?
So the thing is, that was interesting about them, and they were very smart to do this. They didn't pigeonhole themselves. So you go from Boy to October.
That's October was before War. That's right.
Three totally different albums, like sounds. Three totally different sounds, right? And then they get to Unforgettable Fire, totally different sound. Absolutely like a more mature sound. Right, more mature sound with Unforgettable Fire. Lyrics got a little more
thematic,
deep, and then the Monster, came out, Joshua Tree, and that was it. After that, I guess they're doing 25 shows in Vegas, and they're gonna focus on the Achtung Baby album, I guess, to do that. Somebody just told me recently. I haven't heard it yet. That their new album, their what do you call it? The reimagination of of their songs that they did, like Echo and the Bunnymen did it like 3 years ago or so, 4 years ago, and it was actually pretty good. They did a great version of The Killing Moon on piano with Ian McCullough. Still has that voice, right? And somebody told me this U2 album, fucking horrible. They were like, oh, Jesus, it's horrible. So, but if Jack was there, he'd be like, whoa, wait a minute now. I saw Bono. It isn't this. Blah, blah, blah. Why do I want to hear reimagined U2 songs when they're already fucking classic? Yeah, right. So isn't that like a cheap way of just like, let's just do a money grab. Let's have fun in the studio and just dump it out there. Maybe
make an album.
They owe an album
tour,
or something. The record company. Yeah, and we were talking recently about people who didn't age well.
No,
really? Bono did not age well. Oh, look at him now.
He looked like
look
Sean
at him
Penn.
lately. Wow. Just looks like, with really beady eyes.
He has
and his
glaucoma,
skin just looks like
Yeah. I think that's why he wears those glasses. I think he's got an eye condition.
Yeah. Well, he's rich enough to get surgery, so
get new eyes.
He doesn't even need. Really. He doesn't even need health insurance.
Cash.
Hey, Bono, what kind of vision plan do you have?
The copay, PP.
Yeah, what's your copay, Bono, on that glaucoma shit you got?
Get new eyeballs.
And he starts complaining. He can just afford new eyeballs. Yeah, yeah. And then be able to tip the doctor at the end also.
Really?
But he just looks old. He's got he's dyeing his hair like it's this reddish color or something. Maybe it's the same color as George Costanza's father's hair.
Fake old man red. Yeah,
that reddish hair. Yeah,
it's like you're kidding yourself. Red.
Really. That's Bono's hair. He's like George Costanza's father.
Orange,
Hey, Edge, I got a problem with you.
It just wears a skull cap. Bad skin, baggy eyes. It's an Irish
he was
thing.
smart. It's true. Yeah, bad skin. It's an Irish thing. Oh, don't look at me when you say that, buddy.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah. McLean
Not me, buddy. I got good genes. I try to stay out of the sun.
Yeah, tell me about it, man.
Fuck you up, man.
Get the top of your head frozen.
Yeah, yeah. Give me an album.
Stevie Nicks, The Wild Heart. Big solo record. Stand Back was on that. Her on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Was that a treadmill she was on?
He's on a move.
Yeah.
On a fucking treadmill.
Yeah.
Walking toward the camera. Cut. Stand back. Take 57. She's like, she's walking in those fucking boots.
And she didn't have nothing to hang on to. No handlebars, whatever, or handrail.
Let's see. This album came out February 1st, 1983. Journey, Frontiers. Did they have a bad album in the 80s? No, I don't think so.
No.
Weren't they they were one of the monsters of the 80s, wouldn't you say? Maybe the to the mid 80s, early to mid, right?
No, actually, I mean, they started in the late 70s. They reformed a bit, but I think their heyday,
but
82.
Their popularity.
When was Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin'? Was that 70? That was 79.
That was 79. Yeah. So 81, they had Escape, right?
What was the big hit on that?
Then, on Escape. Isn't that Just a Small Town Girl? Wasn't that on
I don't know.
Escape? Because on Frontiers it had Separate Ways, right?
Yeah,
that was a big hit.
That's my favorite Journey song, by the way. Yep. I mean, it's a rocking song. The drums are great on that song. I mean, it was some really great. Those drum fills were really, really cool. But I just think that's definitely one of the more rocking, kind of like more of a gut punchy type of song. But great vocal. Yeah. I think my favorite Journey song is I like Send Her My Love, and I like what's the other one I like? Oh, sorry, Alexa. Yeah. Can you hear Alexa talking to me? Couldn't hear what she was saying. That all about. I didn't even think she was. Let me see. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna go looking it up just for this. So when was what was on the first album? I was wondering what was on Journeys. Did you look it up? 81. What was their big Escape? Let's see. See what we got. Escape album. You should know this. Any way you want it. Who's Crying Now? Don't Stop Believing. Yeah, Don't Stop Believing. Any way you want it. I thought so. Yeah. Open Arms. Open Arms. Okay. Right. Yeah. I always thought that came later, but no, it didn't. It was 81. It was Any Way You Want It on for that record? On Escape? I don't know. I think
That came later. That came out with the movie Caddyshack, didn't it? Wasn't that the same year that Caddyshack came out? Not sure.
That didn't come up on soundtracks. Caddyshack. I'm all right.
Not in 83. I don't think it came out in 83.
Oh, that was in 83, no.
I'll Be All Right Without You. I like that song. I'll be all right without you. Love's an easy place. Let me see. Who's Crying Now? I like that. Right. I hate Lights. I hate that fucking song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that fucking song.
That thing's all right.
Yeah. Girl Can't Help It. That's my favorite Journey song. Yeah. I just like that in Send My Love. They have they go in a different direction during the song. I like songs that break it up like that. Perry Dedovich says MTV really helped with sales. Yep. Image, concert tickets, and IP and CD sales. Don't you? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. MTV. So Jack and I had this conversation. Maybe we could bring it up next week. Without MTV, the Go-Go's wouldn't have been popular. I insist on that. I insist on that. They would not have been as popular as they are without MTV. They wouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
They wouldn't be anywhere without MTV.
You know? No, they wouldn't have been. I really don't think. I don't care. They wrote their own music. Oh, well, they wrote their own music. They played their own instruments. Yeah, so did the Runaways.
The Bengals.
You know? And look how far they went.
They're pre-MTV, so they didn't benefit from, I mean, in some ways, it could be a beauty contest. Would Corey Hart?
It was a beauty contest.
The rampant success he was, probably not.
Probably not.
Timbuktu, even some of these like one-offs. If you had a Timbuktu.
Well, so Timbuktu might have. They had a very unique sound. I could see them being played on college radio, but they wouldn't have been, and they weren't really big stars. They had a couple hits. The Future's So Bright. That album actually is a pretty good album.
Or like
that first album,
kind of like the Crash Test.
Pretty good album.
One hit wonder in a way, but that song may not have gotten the attention that didn't have that. Even though the video was nothing earth shaking.
Superman never made any money saving the world from Solomon Grundy.
Great line.
Yeah. If you listen to that song, I love it. It tells a good story.
That's because I heard it.
It really does tell a good story.
Home, and I'm like, I said the title is
really
because I was with my son. I'm like.
Tarzan, there was a good man.
He claimed he got that voice from inhaling asthma steroids. Yeah.
Really? I still say, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Campbell's Soup dropped the ball. They could have used that.
Right?
So was the slogan. Good, right?
They might have offered.
There's a bunch more albums.
Clapton, Money and Cigarettes. Yep. Right.
Yep. Twisted Sister.
Quiet Riot.
You Can't Stop Rock and Roll.
Which one was that you said? Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. Yep.
Apparently they call it the first heavy metal record to go number one. Or it's Come On Feel the Noise heavy metal. No, it's hard rock.
No. This one's for Mark. Yep. Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind, came out May
Def Leppard,
1983.
Pyromania. Big record.
Yeah, I looked at that one. There's so many we could be. This show would be a 3 hour show if we stopped on every fucking album. This one I'm not another big fan, but I would listen to this before I listened to that fucking Styx album. Okay. Dio, Holy Diver.
Me neither.
I was never a big Dio fan.
Billy Joel and Innocent Man. Was that his last pop record?
Yeah.
He has not made a rock record in maybe not, but that was one last pop record.
Yeah, I don't know. Billy Joel, I like a handful of his songs, but I never really followed him.
Handful of songs.
I didn't really care for him. Yeah, his earliest stuff actually. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood came out in '83. Yep.
and Talking Heads speaking in tongues. The Heads.
Oh yeah, yeah. Does that have "This Must Be the Place" on it? That was on that. It was actually in the movie with. Now I'm drawing a blank. I got the Schmitties right now.
That's a hard thing.
I got the Schmitties. About the hitman that goes to his Grosse Point Blank. Yeah. Let me see. What's the name? What's the Talking Heads album? Speaking.
Mark bought Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind in my local supermarket, ShopRite, when I was 14. ShopRite, Hillsdale, New Jersey. They sold albums at ShopRite, Mark.
Yeah, This Must Be the Place. Naive Melody. That's what I thought. Yeah. I love that. That's my favorite Talking Head song, I think. Yeah. Very different from anything they've really done. Okay, that had Burning Down the House on it, too. That was a huge hit. Huge hit. Metallica, Kill 'Em All.
Elvis Costello and the Attractions, Punch the Clock. It's got every day I write the book, which I keep thinking is a Squeeze song. on this show, I've said
that's right.
Like, it's Elvis Costello, though. I've done it like 3 times.
Cheap Trick, Next Position, Please. I think that had I Can't Take It, Dancing the Night Away. What else did it have on it? Let me see. Yeah, I guess Todd Rundgren.
What did Van Halen put out in '83?
You know,
they didn't put a record.
They didn't. Did they? I don't know.
Right before
AC/DC, Flick of the Switch.
Lick It Up. Lick It Up.
Right. Black Sabbath, Born Again. They're doing actually a 40-year 40th. Alexa, what the fuck? Like, where's that coming? I have her plugged in, but I don't.
It's Perry.
Yeah, Violent Femmes is doing a 40th year tour for that album, I think. I had a chance to see them in Colin Hay right down the street at a nice amphitheater, park in Boca. Yeah, I fucking had a drop-in friends. Fucked it up. I was just going to go down there and buy a ticket. It's literally like a mile from my house.
Damn.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah. Kiss, Lick It Up. Isn't that their first non-makeup album? Yeah, I think so. Yep, which featured the members' real faces.
Put the makeup back on.
Yeah. Yep. Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. Right? Genesis. John Cougar, Mellencamp.
The same year in '83. Wasn't no jacket required in '83?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that was '83. Yeah, I think he went solo a little later than that, like a little later than '83. Let me see. John Cougar, Mellencamp.
Pink Houses, yep.
With Pink Houses, Authority Song, Crumbling Down. Paul McCartney, Pipes of Peace. Who cares? Rolling Stones, Undercover.
Good stuff on that record.
Undercover of the Night.
Sly and Robbie, the
great video
reggae rhythm section played on some of those songs.
Yeah. The album cover, the controversial album cover of the Naked Lady. They got the parts covered up, and there's evidently, if you can find the original album cover with the stickers still intact, then got a little bit going there. Billy Idol, Rebel Yell came out in '83. Yeah.
That's all I got.
What else you got? What do you have? Yes. 90125. Right? Duran Duran, 7 in the Ragged Tiger, big album.
What songs are on that one?
So Todd Sockman jumps in right at the end. Yeah. Captain Major General Chief Todd Sockman. We start over. Yeah. Listen to it tomorrow on the way to work. He's Yeah, he's back in time because he's in
3 hours.
California, so he's definitely back in time. Yeah. Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. That finished off the
Pretty
year.
big year.
Not bad. Yeah, that was an interesting year. Maybe we'll do more of these shows.
Yeah.
I like that. Bring out a year and just pop with albums and soundtracks and add whatever you want into it.
I looked up folk stuff too, and I didn't find a whole lot I recognized.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll pick up more of these. I think they're interesting shows to do. It's all good content. Well, let's see. What do we got going on here? Top 10 songs this week in 1983.
All right.
So here we go. Number 10 this week in 1983.
Yep.
Our House by Madness. Yeah. Number 9 this week in 1983. Sticks. Don't let it end. Don't let it end. Whatever the fuck. Number 8 this week in 1983. The Kinks.
Catchy song, but it's just not my favorite.
So some of these songs now, right? Some of these songs are leftovers from albums, evidently, that came out in 82.
Okay.
Right?
They charted.
I would think that because Come Dancing, that I didn't see the Kinks on that list of albums that came out in 83, right? So you get the albums, maybe that came out, I don't know, at the end of
82,
82.
And like I said, the song may not chart until, because I think Sports by Huey Lewis, I think in 84 it hit the charts again and just climbed, it climbed up again, but popular. Came out in 83.
Yep. Number 7 this week in 1983, Culture Club, Time. Telling you, the fucking first album is a good album. Yeah. It's a good album. I just think no one really gave it a chance after they got exploited by the record company and just get out there. But it's a really good album. Number 6 this week in 1983, Michael Jackson, Want to Be Starting Something. Number 5 this week in 1983, Kaja Gugu, Too Shy, Hush Hush.
Would they have been somewhere on MTV? Maybe.
Oh, they had everything to do with MTV. That's the only reason that fucking song made it. Yeah. And the dude tries to go out on his own. I forget his name. He goes by one name. Like Jamal, yeah. It was like, whoa, dude, you had one fucking hit. Easy.
He pulled a Chevy Chase, although Chevy made movies,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Easy killer. Easy. Get
a little ahead of yourself there, Lamal.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamal. All right, buddy. Relax. Solo career. I don't know who you're listening to, Jamal, but that haircut ain't going to last long. I'll tell you what, because come 85, that shit's out of style.
The kind of Rod Stewart on the moon mohawk thing or whatever. Wait, Boy George is.
So this is an interesting one. Boy George is dreaming. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not even going to touch that. It's 5 things ran through my head right then. I don't want to say them on the air. Yeah. Number 4 this week in 1983, Sergio Mendes, Never Gonna Let You Go. Wow.
Wait,
that's kind of a yeah. Top 10 songs this week in 83. I don't know. Number 3 this week in 1983. Here you go, buddy. Irene Cara, Flashdance. What a feeling.
Cara just died recently.
Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Number 2 this week in 1983. We're gonna rock on to Electric Avenue, and then we get you higher. Eddie Grant. Evidently, Electric Avenue in Jamaica is not a fucking good place.
Out in the street.
It's not a. Yeah, it's not. Out in the daytime. Rocking to the beat.
On the dark side of town. I heard that on AM radio out of New York.
So Mark Smith says, I want to hear Never Let You Go sung by Michael McDonald.
I'm not performing Flea, Mr. Smith.
That's right. In your traveling circus.
Your circus of bed bugs.
And number one this week in 1983, no doubt, Monster, The Police, Every Breath You Take.
Yep.
Greatest stalker song ever written. Right? Top 10 albums this week in 1983. Doesn't necessarily mean that they were released in 83. So, but you're going to see some. Number 10 this week in 1983 was Daryl Hall and John Oates, H2O. Remember now, these albums came out and some of them stayed on the charts for fucking weeks, right? Because this one I know stayed on the charts for weeks. Number 9 this week in 1983, Prince, 1999. Yeah. Number 8 this week in 1983, Bryan Adams, Cuts Like a Knife. Number 7 this week on the album charts in 1983, Journey, Frontiers. Number 6 this week on the album charts in 1983, Men at Work, Cargo. Number 5 this week in the album charts in 1983. I don't know why I just fucking stopped right there. I had like a COVID moment. I had a COVID moment.
It was a mini shitty.
So number 5 this week in 1983, like David Bowie, Let's Dance. The fuck was that?
It was a momentary lapse of reason.
It's more than that. It was just a momentary.
The synapses something didn't hit. Something didn't fire.
It's something's not firing. All right, so that was the number 5 album. I'm gonna see if you can tell me what the top 4 were. Let's see if you can get 2 out of the last 4. 1983. We just went through all the albums, right?
So what you're asking? Wait.
Number 4. Just give me 2 out of the top 4.
What you want? Sorry,
I'll tell you if it's. All right, so there's 4 albums left in the top 10 this week in 1983.
Okay.
We covered.
I'm gonna say some of number 4 is Cargo.
No, that was number 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Really.
Good job paying attention. Mark Flynn says Scott had long-term COVID before COVID.
Did you say we did not. We did.
No, I didn't say. Yeah, I said that's number 5. Yeah.
Wait.
You know where I get that?
I know number 1. Quite right.
What?
No. Fuck.
Nope.
Oh, really?
Not in the top 4 either.
Yeah, I know.
Journey
Frontiers.
Number 4. Nope, just said it.
7.
Number 7.
U2 War.
The final cut. Nope. You know where I get that from, right?
The Flintstones.
The Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Was it?
No, it's Bugs Bunny, right? When he asked Pete Puma, "Hey, you want any tea?" He goes, "Yeah." You want any sugar? Yeah. How many lumps? 3 or 4. And he slams him on the head with a hammer. Dink, dink, dink.
Okay,
and his lumps pop up in his head. 3 or 4.
Huey Lewis.
All right, number 3. Nope.
Okay.
Def Leppard, Pyromania. Yeah. Number 2 this week in 1983.
Okay.
Flashdance. Soundtrack. And number 1 this week in 1983, and it was on the charts for a long time. Michael Jackson, Thriller.
Did that come out in 82?
Yeah.
It did. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was on the charts for
yeah. Biggest selling album ever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At the time,
that's been eclipsed.
Record,
with the Eagles. Is the Eagles early hits still the biggest?
So you could say, that's probably the biggest album seller of all time. But I mean, when you're talking about that, that's just a longevity album, right? You know, Michael Jackson Thriller was just like a moment in time.
Yeah.
Fucking everybody owned it. Off the Wall, like fucking crushed anything that was around it. Then Thriller crushed Off the Wall, which is, we'll never see that again in our lifetime.
Good point.
I do not think we will ever see anything like that.
Yeah, an artist that has that kind of background, and the producer too. I mean, Quincy Jones. I mean, that's
Quincy Jones.
The guy's got a pedigree a mile long. I mean, so yeah, and the way music is downloaded now too.
Yep. Like I said earlier in the show, I think we were spoon fed back in the 80s. I was talking about, I think when you were booting up, I was saying we were spoon fed what they wanted us to see, and we had MTV, and that gave us a lot more diversity, music to look at and videos to watch and groups to follow. But for the most part, we were spoon fed by the record companies what they wanted us to see, and it was all based on AM radio and then FM radio, and then MTV comes along and just kind of enhances everything, right? So these bands like the Go-Go's wouldn't have been mainstays on the radio without MTV. Time for Mark Smith's favorite part of the show. This day in music. Let's go backwards this time. On this day in 1954, 19-year-old Elvis Presley signed a recording contract with Sun Records. He also gave his notice that day at the Crown Electric Company. So Sam Phillips from the Sun Records originally wanted to use the 19-year-old to make demos of songs meant for other artists, but soon realized that here was the man who could bridge the gap between white and black performance. On this day in 1958, the Quarrymen, featuring John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, John Duff Lowe on piano, and Colin Hinton on drums, recorded a vanity disc at a small studio in an electronics shop owned by a man named Percy Phillips. The band recorded That'll Be the Day and In Spite of Danger in one take each, with the names on the tunes and the songwriters handwritten on the label. The song's writers handwritten on the label. Each band member was to keep the 10-inch 78 RPM disc for a week before passing it on. Both recordings eventually ended up on anthology. Wow.
I don't remember hearing them.
Yeah. On this day in 1962, the Rolling Stones made their live debut at the Marquee Jazz Club in London with Dick Taylor on bass, later of the Pretty Things, and Mick Avery on drums, later of the Kinks. Right? Billed as the Rollin', Rollin Stones, they were paid £20 for the gig, the equivalent of £330 in 2010, which is probably, I don't know, now like $500. On this day in 1962, Ray Charles was at number 1 in the UK single charts with the Don Gibson penned country ballad, I Can't Stop Loving You. His only UK number 1 was taken from his Modern Sounds in the Country and Western Music album.
It's a great album title. It was called Country and Western.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I always say that. That's when the music was good. It was real. It was pure. It was not country pop
with Telecasters
like it is now. Yeah. On this day in 1964, the Beatles appeared at the Hippodrome Theatre in Brighton, England, with the Foremost and the Shub-Dubs. The Shub-Dubs, whose drummer, Jimmy Nicole, who had filled in for an ill Ringo Starr on the Beatles World Tour.
That's right. We talked about the Shub-Dubs a couple weeks ago because I mentioned Jimmy Nicole.
That's right.
He disappeared. But I saw them Shub-Dubs. I think it's a great name for a band.
Let me see. Mickey Dolenz, who cares? On this day in 1969, one-hit wonders, Seger and Evans, started a 6-week run, 6 weeks at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with In the Year 2525. Do you know the rest of the name of that song? The parentheses version of the song? Exordium and Terminus.
Did not know. That's cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. In the year 2525, Exordium and Terminus.
Who knows? So that was,
I don't know. Mark Flynn has bad breath.
Then Seger and Evans, that's all we ever heard from them. Yeah.
That's it. The song was also number 1 in the UK, making them the only one-hit wonders ever in both US and UK singles charts.
Great.
Wow. I don't think it did anything for them. I don't know. The song
Yeah,
didn't really
well,
have longevity. It doesn't.
No, not
didn't
for a
stand
while
the
it
test of
did.
time.
I mean, but it kind of dropped off. But going into the 70s,
Yeah.
I remember, but I think once the 80s hit, yeah,
It was a big song. It was
that was
definitely
up there
a big
like with
song.
Scott McKenzie, San Francisco, in that same,
Yeah, San Francisco.
Yep.
Are you
now did Seger and Evans right?
to-
25, exorbitant extremist, whatever it was called.
Extremis exordium interminus.
That's what I said.
It was a sad day on this day in 1979. American singer-songwriter Minnie Riperton died of cancer at age 31. The Stevie Wonder produced "Loving You," which is a 70s classic, I would say.
Yes. Sure.
Right? 70s classic. Gave Minnie a U.S. #1 single in 1975. She worked at Chess Records singing backup for various artists such as Etta James, Fontella Bass, Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, and Muddy Waters. She also sang lead for the experimental rock soul group Rotary Connection from 67 to 71, also a member of Wonder Love in 73, and a backup singer for Stevie.
He produced "Loving You."
Yeah.
Very, very nice production.
Yeah.
Very low key, but very
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd listen to it every time I hear it. I keep
She
it
had
on, I mean, who doesn't love
Yeah, man.
la 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 la
I harmonized
la
it.
la 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 la. I'm not done yet. La 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 la.
Now she has. I think she was the one of the first people that has that whisper octave, like Christina Aguilera, and I think that thing of the voice goes into that weird. Mariah Carey has.
Mariah Carey have
Minnie
that
Riperton
too.
is like the template for a lot of that.
She had that.
Yeah,
that.
But it's beyond like falsetto. It's just weird. It's out there.
It's out there, man. Yeah. On this day in 1980, the 70s/80s hottie Olivia Newton-John and the Electric Light Orchestra had the UK #1 single with Xanadu, taken from the film of the same name. It gave Olivia Newton-John her third UK #1 single.
But ELO had some good stuff on that.
Yeah. On this day in 1980, during their 23-date 11 o'clock TikTok tour, U2 played at the Moonlight, West Hampton, London. Who cares? On this day in 1986, Simply Red scored their first #1 single with "Holding Back the Years." Simply Red singer Mick Hucknall wrote the song when he was 17 while he was living in his father's house. The chorus did not come to him until many years later. That dude was smart, man. He took his money, right? He took a lot of the money he made and he started buying fucking real estate in England, like along like those shitty factory buildings, like along the waterfronts, and just fucking bought them, sat on them. Billions.
Once they start developing
later on, I mean, what an investment.
Revitalizing the areas and stuff.
Yeah, he must have got some good advice. Or he was just fucking sharp like that. But he bought a lot of that waterfront.
I think a lot of like classic rock stars and musicians, you start getting that money and you don't do the right thing with it. Like the guys.
Yeah. That dude's got a good voice. I mean, I'm not a big Simply Red fan, but he's definitely he's got that unique voice.
White voice. Yeah.
He's a ginger, right?
He's a
ginger. Good for the gingers.
Let's hear it for the gingers.
They get no respect today. Gingers get no respect. Yeah. On this day in 1986, the dreamy, according to Mark Flynn, the dreamy Boy George, and singer Marilyn, who is just another version of Boy George, but they all wanted to be Pete Burns. Pete Burns was the original of that kind of transgender look, from Pete Burns from You Spin Me Right Round, Baby, Right Round.
It was called androgynous.
Yeah, they kind of androgynous. Yeah, they were arrested in London for possession of drugs. No way. How much of that was set up too for publicity reasons, right?
Yeah, you gotta wonder.
How much was really like the record is like you need to get arrested. Yeah. We'll take care of it. Don't worry.
You get a misdemeanor.
You're gonna get a lot of
bad
publicity.
boy image. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
do
you're not
some
doing
fucking
time.
community hours. You teach fucking kids how to put makeup on. What the fuck, right? How hard can it be? How hard can it be, boy? On this day in 1988, Michael Jackson arrived at the UK for his first ever solo appearances. He performed a total of 8 nights to 794,000 people.
Damn.
Over 8 nights. 794,000 people.
Yeah.
We're never going to see. I told you, we'll never see this again in our lifetime.
What would it take?
There will never.
Yeah, I mean, besides just a musical sensation.
I think who's the biggest star right now? Taylor Swift?
She
can't touch those numbers.
Is your music that distinctive? I don't know it from. I've heard songs that I didn't know that was Taylor.
Hype Machine. She's a good girl, good voice, stays out of trouble. You know, she got ripped off by her first manager type producer. Smart business girl, not bad to look at. You know, she's not fucking cray like Mariah Carey was, and you know all these other ones. She's like Beyonce, lays low, cool, do her thing.
Makes your music.
You know, she did a concert in Foxborough. Yeah, she did a concert in Foxborough a month or so back, and you know where the Patriots play, and it was raining. She hung in there. Piano got all fucked up, like the whole thing. But she, you know, she rolls with it. Well, good girl. Now, if I met her, she'd probably be the fucking. Everyone thinks Cyndi Lauper's a nice person too.
Yeah,
she's not a nice person. Really? I've said this 100 times on this show in 109 episodes. Cyndi Lauper's not a nice. She's not nice to her fans. She's not. She's now, especially, she's crotchety old woman. Yeah. You there, Lou? Uh-oh. I think Lou froze. Well, I'm almost done. He'll bounce back. This day in 1996, Jimmy Chamberlain, Smashing Pumpkins drummer, was charged with drug possession after the death of the band's keyboard player, Jonathan Melvoin, who was the brother of Wendy Melvoin from The Revolution, Prince and the Revolution. Whose father was also a music star. Lou is out. Yep. Here it is. Almost done, though, in his New York hotel room. On this day in 2000, a statue erected in the memory of John Lennon was unveiled in London's something square. It was a fucking gun with the barrel twisted. And Lou is officially out. On this day in 2003, saxophonist, composer, and arranger Benny Carter died at the age of 95. He worked with Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald, Ray Charles, and composed many TV themes, including Ironside and The Mod Squad. Good for him. On this day in 2008, creepy! Rolling Stone Ron Wood left his wife of 23 years and moved in with an 18-year-old Russian cocktail waitress. Maybe not so creepy. Maybe good for you. The 61-year-old dad of 4 had met the teenager while out drinking and had taken her away to his luxury pad in Ireland. Yeah, the rest is history. And on this day in July 12th, 2012, Polster magazine announced that former Pink Floyd bassist Roger Waters had grossed up to $158.1 million in concert ticket sales worldwide so far that year for the Wall live show. Bruce Springsteen came in second with $79 million. Wow, he doubled them. Holy shit. And let's see, born on this day, in 1967, John Petrucci, American guitarist. Let's see, I just got a text from Lou. Best known as a founding member of the progressive metal rock band Dream Theater. Let's see, Lou exited gracefully, according to Mark Smith. Born on this day in 1952, Philip Taylor Kramer, bass guitarist of Iron Butterfly. Now, this is a strange story. His disappearance on February 12th, 1995, caused a mystery lasting 4 years. On May 29th, 1999, Kramer's Ford Aerostar minivan, well, that doesn't speak well of his situation. Those fucking things were shit boxes. He had a Ford Aerostar. Oh, man. Anyways, on May 29th, on this day, What the fuck? On May 29th, 1999, Kramer's Ford Aerostar minivan and skeletal remains were found by photographers looking for old car wrecks to shoot at the bottom of Decker Canyon near Malibu, California. Based on forensic evidence, his death was ruled as a probable suicide. Born on this day in 1952, Liz Mitchell, singer from German vocal group Boney M. Now, this is going to surprise you. Boney M, German vocal group Boney M, who had the 1978 UK #1 and US #30 single Rivers of Babylon, and with more than 150 million records sold, they are one of the best-selling artists of all time. What? Okay. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1950, Eric Carr, drummer with American rock band Kiss. Unfortunately, Carr died on 24th November 1991. I believe he had cancer. And happy birthday to the lovely and amazing and wonderful, and I thought when beautiful, she aged extremely gracefully. Had some of my favorite songs and some of Fleetwood Mac's favorites, the best songs, Christine McVie. Sad to see her go. Really was. That one kind of bothered me a little bit. I really liked her. She was the lowest of the low key in that band. And just very, I don't know, underappreciated until, you always have the people pass away all of a sudden. Oh, I loved her. Nah, I don't know. She was very, very, I always liked her songs, maybe a little better than Stevie Nicks songs. Some people would say, oh, how can you say that? That's just my taste. But I liked her. And happy birthday to her in heaven. And that's it, my friends, my peeps, my cult following. That's it. Good show. Show number 109. 109 shows. Wow. That just kind of set in tonight. Wow, 109 shows. And there's no end in sight. Climbing our way to 200. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening, of course. You are the engine that drives this machine. Without you, now it's just me talking to myself. I do that anyway sometimes. And speaking of my friend, my favorite artist, Morrissey, again, who I just got 2 tickets for me and Dr. Vera to go see him. Great seats, good score, and not the cheapest tickets in the world. If you ask me on Facebook, I'll tell you, but I'm not going to say it in the podcast that it cost me $400. But it's worth it because I am a Morrissey fan. That's why I quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, doing this show for you. Again, to quote him, "The pleasure, the privilege is mine." And I will see you next week with Mark and Lou and maybe Jack, the wild card now. And this was a good show. I like this format. I like doing the years and albums and stuff like that. A lot of good conversation comes out of it. Patty Yossi, thank you. Thank you, my friend. I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. And that's that. We will see you next week. I got to go upload this monster. 2 hours and 8 minutes. I knew I couldn't keep it under 2 hours. I couldn't do it.